or to get your documents. When we get done here, Cole is going to graciously kind of help us find the S drive, find our committee folders. So if you're struggling with that a little bit, he's going to stick around. And there's a whole bunch of steps, by the way, like some of them I'm not familiar with. I always plugged in with the hard connection with this. You got to have your dongle. I don't want to explain what a dongle is to anybody, but ask your neighbor if you don't know. But if you can't find your dongle, there's some places we don't want to go. You can also get on the Wi-Fi if you know how to do it. And Cole had to show me how to do it. So, by the way, it's great to have young people. You know, we joke about diversity once in a while, but the most important diversity sometimes is young, you know, because old dogs like me have troubles learning new tricks. Anyway, with that, we'll move on to the business of today. Do we have any bill introductions? Yes, sir. Step forward, state your name, and you have an RS number? I do. Okay. Yes.
Does everybody hear me?
Work on that spelling.
And this bill is on the right to repair, but it's on the right to repair for motor vehicles only. There's no agriculture in it. There's no medical equipment in it. There's no electronics in it. So it's strictly in motor vehicles only.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Representative Delperdang.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last year, are you familiar with SEMA organization?
No.
Because we ran a right to repair bill and I thought that went through, but is this, I was just going to ask if it was similar or.
The only one that was ran last year was one through agriculture, and it died right in committee.
Okay. So is this on any motor vehicle?
Any motor vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Is there any objection to the introduction of the bill? Seeing none, the bill is introduced. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you.
All right. Any other bill introductions? Representative Alcala, it's good to see you today in one of the better committees in the House. I think I sat next to you in one of the other committees.
No, gets me in trouble a lot. He does a lot of talking. Hey, so this bill introduction is kind of like an old pair of shoes that have been in the closet. I took them out, polished them up. I'm going to wear them this session until they get dull again. So the RS number is RS 0759, and this is a bill distraction while driving, texting.
And are you introducing it on behalf of anybody?
I am. I'm introducing on behalf of a Kansas constituent, and do you need to know his name? Todd Linder.
You don't have to know his name.
Todd Linder.
Excuse me?
Todd Linder.
Okay. Anybody got any questions regarding the bill? Linder, Linder. Okay.
Here's my Spanish accent. I tried it.
See. Anybody have any questions regarding the bill? Is there any objection to the introduction of the bill? Not, the bill's introduced. Thank you very much.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. All right, do we have any other bill introductions today? All right, seeing none, we are going to have our first bill hearing. And it is going to be on HB 2030. Go to your S drive. You should have a copy of the bill. It's excluding dealers and manufacturers of trailers from certain provisions of the Vehicle Dealers Manufacturing Licensing Act. So the bill hearing is now open, and we'll have an overview from Revisor Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, committee. House Bill 2030 would exclude dealers and manufacturers of trailers from certain provisions of the Vehicle Dealers and Manufacturers Licensing Act. So the Vehicle Dealers and Manufacturers Licensing Act is found in Article 24 of Chapter 8 of the Kansas Statutes Annotated. It provides certain requirements on manufacturers, distributors, and vehicle dealers, and also provides for the licensing of those individuals and to operate in a way to maintain that licensure according to the provisions in the act. What this bill would do is for dealers and manufacturers of trailers, would exclude them from certain provisions. And those provisions are listed in subsection A on lines 6 and 7. And the bill further goes on to say that those provisions or the exclusions would not apply to semi-trailer and travel trailer dealers and manufacturers. So as I said, the statutes that wouldn't apply to dealers and manufacturers of trailers are listed in subsection A. I did provide the list in my brief as well as the caption for each statute. And I don't know if I'll go through them all right now. I know KLRD put together a list with descriptions kind of each statute. I'd be happy to answer questions on those. What I'll just point out at the end, all the provisions in the act, mainly pertaining to like the licensing, would still apply to those dealers and manufacturers of trailers as they do under current law. The bill becomes effective on publication of the statute book or July 1, 2025. And I would stand for any questions.
And just to let everybody know, this is what KLRD handed out yesterday that he's referring to. And I think also to complicate things a little bit more, some of the interested parties on this have worked out an amendment. So you should also have in front of you a copy of an amendment to the bill that if we work the bill, we'll probably consider. With that, is there any questions for Supervisor Wagner? Seeing none, we'll move on to the rest of the presentation. To my understanding, there has not been a fiscal note issued on this. I can't imagine that it would be very extreme. And so today we'll start out with proponent testimony. And we have Braden Edwards with Carry On Trailer on behalf of American Trailer World. Welcome to the committee. Braden.
Can you hear me now? There we go. Thanks for the time. Glad to be here. Braden Edwards, Vice President and General Manager of American Trailer World. American Trailer World is the largest manufacturer of hauled or drawn trailers in the country. We manufacture brands such as Big Tex Trailers, PJ Trailers, Carry On Trailers, and a couple of other ones. All of our trailers are cargo trailers, dump trailers, equipment haulers, anything you can tow with a pickup truck, largely speaking. None of those motorized or livable trailers. So as you know, we support the amendment that's been presented. We sell trailers largely through independent dealers and big box retail outlets, and so those would be something like Lowe's, Tractor Supply, Baumgars, various other ones, and then independent dealers. The bill as proposed would help with a deregulation to help those dealerships expand into the state. As the largest manufacturer in the country, we frequently get calls from dealerships, you know, how can we grow our business? You know, Kansas may look like a opportunity for them to grow, and you know, we're not experts on licensing, and so this bill would harmonize Kansas with how most of the other states are in the country. There's very few that have trailers lumped into Motor Vehicle Act, and so simplifies that, allows them to expand their businesses here, and we're a big supporter of that. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Representative Goddard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the briefing. My question has to do with the consumer. This would just be transparent for the consumer. They still have to go through all the registration and licensing and everything. So this is primarily for the dealers themselves.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. They would still have to register trailers, get a license plate, everything that they do currently. So no change.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anybody else have any other questions regarding the bill? Representative Minix.
Thank you. After we talked the other day, I got to thinking of some things that are somewhat of a hybrid. I've got a 3-horse slant with living quarters in the front.
Anything with living quarters, keep me honest in the definitions, Mr. Wagner, but believe my understanding is that anything with living quarters would not be excluded in the manner that we're asking for here.
Be treated the same thing as a recreational vehicle or a camper.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any other proponent testimony? Seeing none, we'll move on to neutral testimony. We have Charles Bradley with Kansas Department of Revenue. Welcome to the committee, Mr. Bradley. So you wore your tie and suit jacket today.
I was told that I'm supposed to do that every time now. Charles Bradley for Department of Revenue, Legal Services. Obviously you can see the testimony that I presented. Did I push it? I'll just speak up, sorry. The first part of it was simply a summary of how we think it's going to impact. The second was a potential loophole. However, the amendment that has been worked out, thanks to Chris's efforts, 8 o'clock Saturday morning, should plug that loophole, and I have no further concerns with it.
So would it be fair to say you're a proponent with the amendment and neutral without, or?
And not say that I am a proponent. No, we are still neutral. It is simply that a legal loophole that I found has been plugged up.
Okay.
But we are still neutral.
You don't have any serious concerns with it either. I mean, you're truly neutral. Okay,
With the amendment.
with the amendment. All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Seeing none, thank you very much. Do we have any other neutral testimony? Seeing none, do we have any opponent testimony? Do we have any opponent testimony? All right. This one's going to be short and sweet. Seeing no further testimony, I'm going to go ahead and close the hearing on HB. Representative Delperdane?
Just a question if I could, and I've done this in the past, but you purchase an enclosed trailer that would clearly fall under this, but then you convert it over to a camper, and in the future you sell it. Is that going to cause an issue with a dealer that maybe would take it as a trade-in because it now has living quarters in it?
Chris,
Anybody
you have
would have any
an
comments on
opinion?
that? It's known as cargo trailer conversion. They're quite popular.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, to your point, I mean, it's all depending on what the definition, and I forgot to mention in my brief that all these definitions are borrowed from KSA 8-126. So the only trailers that would be, or that dealers and manufacturers would be excluded from the act would be a vehicle without motor power designed to carry property or passengers wholly on its own structure and to be drawn by a motor vehicle. So as I said, the semi-trailers and travel trailers, which is travel trailers, every vehicle without motor power designed to be towed by a motor vehicle constructed primarily for recreational purposes. I think at that point, to your point, or to your question, it would be out of the category for the exclusion. It's also whether this just pertains to dealers and manufacturers that are licensed under the act. So I don't know if you were talking about like a personal sale or something.
No, so it would only apply to brand new vehicles then, not something that say if in my case, I purchased it new, but I converted it. And if I wanted to trade it on something else in the future, is that dealer that takes it in, is that considered now a livable type of vehicle when it starts falling into this?
Yeah, at that point, I would say it wouldn't match the definition for just a trailer.
Kind of like a used conversion van or something like that. Used cars, do they fall underneath this act? They don't, because the dealers.
Used cars do fall within the act.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to close the hearing on HB 2030. Again, we really don't have any other business today. Tomorrow, we're going to have hearings on 2 bills. Trying to find my list on which ones they are. Meg, do you know which ones we're having hearings on tomorrow? 2029, which is, what's the subject matter? Cole's got it, I think, for you. Meg, you want to look at what he's showing you? What's 2031 about? Yeah, we got the memorial road naming for Marvin Robinson. Right, and then we're going to have one on motorcycle drivers instruction. So, yes. Okay, so would you address that to the committee, make sure that they know?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did just want to remind the committee that the request deadline for committee bills is Monday, February 3rd. So requests with the RS number need to be made before that date. Or else it'll have to go to an exempt committee like Fed and State or Approps.
So the 3rd is the last day they can come to committee and we can accept bill introductions?
Correct, for any non-exempt committee. So transportation being one of those.
All right, we're hitting our deadlines quick. All right, any other questions? Any other concerns? Okay, if not, we're adjourned and Cole will stick around and help anybody get on DS Drive. Thank you.